Hello, this is Simple Math for you, and our lesson today will be about locating points on a coordinate plane. أهلا بكم، ودرسنا اليوم هو تحديد النقطة على النظام الإحداثي. سيكون هناك جزئين لهذا الموضوع. الجزء الأول هو وضع النقطة بمعرفة الكسر. Our first part will be locating points on the coordinate plane with fractional distance. And as we have discussed in the previous lesson, the fractional distance is A over B. It is given as a fraction. يعطى ككسر. So the first part will be how to find a point on a directed line segment on the coordinate plane that is a given fractional distance from the initial point. As we were doing for a number line, we were doing now for coordinate plane. We were applying only for x, now we are applying for x coordinate and for y coordinate. Remember, direction is important. Initial point and terminal point. It is affecting the result strongly. لازم تحدد نقطة البداية ونقطة النهاية. We were using, if you remember, this part only in the previous lesson. Now we will add the y coordinates as well. So let's see here. Let's apply what we were doing in this question. Find point P on segment QR. Remember, if he's saying QR, it doesn't mean that this is the initial point and this is the final point, because the segment QR can be named as RQ as well. So don't be cheated in that. يعني ما تشوف QR معناها Q هي نقطة البداية. We have to read. لازم نقرأ بقية السؤال from Q to R. So this is the initial point and this is the terminal or the final point, النقطة النهائية. So let's start with the initial point, which is Q. This is Q. First, we will determine the coordinates of this point. إحداثيات هذه النقطة يجب أن تحدد، وهي -2 and -5. So this will be x1, y1. النقطة النهائية أو الثانية هي R, which is, let's go to see what is x. X is 4 and y is 7. So this is x2, y2. This is so important. Now, is the fractional distance given? Yes, it is given. This is 1 over 6. So A over B is 1 over 6. Now, let's apply the formula. The formula says x1 plus A over B, x2 minus x1, and y1 plus A over B, y2 minus y1. So let's now replace. -2 plus 1 over 6, x2 minus x1, the order is important, or 4 minus the -2. y1 is -5 plus A over B is 1 over 6, y2 minus y1, so it's 7 minus -5. So it is -2 plus 1 over 6 times 6, -5 plus 1 over 6 times 12. So it's -2 plus 6 over 6 is 1, minus 5 plus 12 over 6 is 2. So this is -1 and -3. So our point P will be -1 and -3. So it is somewhere here, -1, -3, it's somewhere here. It should be on the line itself and between Q and R. And it makes sense because if you try to look from Q to R, going from Q to R, this segment is almost 1/6. Can you see? If you divide the segment into 6 parts, this is 1 part out of 6 parts from Q to R. يعني جزء من 6 من بداية من Q إلى R. فعلا يبدو ذلك صحيحا. Okay, let's see here. Point C, which is 6, 9, is located on the segment between A and B. So let's imagine that this is the segment that we have. We have C somewhere here, which is 6 and 9, is located between A and B. A is given to be 4 and 8. B is still not known. 1 over 4, point C is 1 over 4 of the distance from A to B. And it should be somewhere here then. Somewhere here is C, not this one. Something like this. Yani we are estimating. C is 6 and 9. Okay, what are the coordinates of point B? My advice is to sketch. تحاول دائما ترسم رسم تقريبي للموضوع حتى تتخيل الوضع. طيب, do you know x1, y1? He is saying from A to B. So A is x1, y1. B, I don't know, so it is x2, y2. C is the point after finding the fractional distance. So the point C is x1 plus A over B, x2 minus x1, and y1 plus A over B, y2 minus y1. So far, this is what we have. The question is, what are the coordinates of point B? That means we are solving for x2 and y2. Let's replace C, 6 and 9 is equal to x1, 4, A over B, I don't know, x2 minus x1, so x2 minus x1, which is 4. y1 is 8, plus A over B, that I don't know, y2 I don't know, minus y1, which is 8. Now, we have an unknown here, so this x coordinate is exactly equal to, this x coordinate is equal to that one. So 6 is equal to 4 plus A over B x2 minus 4. No, sorry, A over B known. Here in this question, A over B is known. Yes, in other questions we might have a problem. Here we have 1 over 4, and here we have also 1 over 4. Yeah. So this is not unknown. It is known, given 1 over 4. I'm replacing it. I'm sorry, I mixed with another question. So let's try to find x2 now. We have an unknown, which is x2, so we will solve for it. I'll solve it by isolating the part including the variable. رح نحاول نعزل الvariable. So 6 minus 4 is equal to 1 over 4 x2 minus x minus 4. And 2 is equal to 1 over 4 x2 minus 4. You have two choices. Either you distribute and then find out the x, or you can multiply both sides by 4 to get out of the fraction. So this will be 8 equals x2 minus 4, adding 4 to both sides, so 12 is x2. Now, all what we have done will be repeated for y. Same procedure again for y. So we will take the other part. 9 is equal to 1 over 4 y2 minus 8 plus 8. And I'll take 8 to that side. So now minus 8 is equal to 1 over 4 y2 minus 8. 1 is equal to 1 over 4 y2 minus 8. Of course, 8 before, 8 after, it doesn't matter because we are adding here. And then if you multiply by 4 both sides, then 4 is y2 minus 8, adding 8 to both sides, so y2 is 12 as well. So my B is 12 and 12. Here we found the terminal point. Great, so we have solved a question directly when we have we have the fractional distance and just we want to locate the point. Now, case 2 here, we found the terminal point when we have a fractional distance and the initial point. Remember this. Now, let's see here, part 2 of the lesson. As we did in the number line, we will find a point, a location of a point on the coordinate plane with a given ratio. And we were using one part, which is this one, for x. We will repeat the procedure for y as well, using the same ratio in order m to n. Let's see here. what can we do? Find S on QR such that the ratio QS to SR is 2 to 1. What is given to us? It starts by Q, ending by R. If you imagine it, this is the Q, then S somewhere between, then S to R. So this is number 1, this is number 2. Point number 1 is Q, so this is X1, Y1. If you check the coordinates, it is -2 and -5. Now R is 4 and 7, and this will be X2 and Y2. You are asked to find the location of the point between them, which is S. Our M is 2 because it's M to N in order, so N is 1. Let's apply the formula. What was the formula? If you remember, this is the formula. Nx1, so it is 1 times x1, which is -2, plus mx2, so it is 2 times 4, over m plus n, so you are adding those. This was for x. And you will repeat the same thing for y, the other coordinate, which is y now. ny1, 1 times -5, plus my2, so it is 2 times 7 over 2 plus 1, and I close the bracket. And now just evaluate. X coordinate, -2 plus 8 over 3. Y coordinate, -5 plus 14 over 3, which is 8 minus 2, 6 over 3, 2. 14 minus 5, 9 over 3 is 3. So the answer is 2, 3, definitely. Be careful when you evaluate. Don't mix N with M. Remember when I explained it in the previous video, you can refer to the video. This point is put in such a way, ratio given, M to N. This is X1, X2. This was in on the number line in 1D. So N is the one that is multiplied by X1, and M is the one which is multiplied by X2, remember. And you are dividing by the sum. Now let's apply on the real life application, real life problem. Yeah. Andre is traveling from Jeffersonville to Springfield, so it's from J to S as it's given here. He plans to stop for a break when the distance he was traveled and the distance he has left to travel have a ratio of 3 to 7. Where should Andre stop for his break? So he is going from J to S. So this is my X1, Y1. This is so important. And this is X2, Y2, M to N. Our M is 3, our N is 7, and let's apply. As you remember, nx1, so it is 7 times x1 plus mx2, so m is 7, x2 is 25, adding 3 plus 7, and let's see, n now, also 7 times y1, which is 2, plus m, which is 3, times y1, which is 2, over 3 plus 7. Let's evaluate. Negative here. You can multiply 7 by -15, which is -105, plus 75 over 10. And this will be 14 plus 6 over 10. Is it that? ny1. No, this is a mistake here. 7 to 3. N is 7. M is 3. Y2. Yes, there's something here. 17, not 7. There is 17 here. Y2. Okay, Y2 here. N X1. M x2. Yes, here ny1 and here my2. So this is 17. Yes, good that we discovered the mistake before we have some problems. So 3 by 17, which is 51. And let's evaluate. (65/10), and this one 75 minus 105, which is -30/10, which is equal to -3 and 6.5. So here is the location that we are looking for. So we had done a slight mistake here. We forgot to put it. So we have to be careful. Yes, it's a nice question. Now, this is a high order thinking question. Point D is located on MV. MV, it's somewhere here. What ratio relates MD to DV? So here we have unknown M to N. How can we find it? D is known to be 0 and -3/4. 0 and -3/4. So how can we solve that? Now, the 0 and -3/4 is equal to nx1 plus mx2 over m plus n and ny1 plus my2 over m plus n. Let's replace now. We don't have n or m, and we have x1 and x2. He is talking about the distance from m to v. So this is my x1, y1. In our case, x1 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it is -6 with 3. y1 is 2 and -2. y2, I mean x2, y2. Yes. Now let's apply. So 0 and -3/4 is equal to n x1, which is -6, plus m, which I don't know, x2. It's easy, but we need to be careful, over m plus n. And you will do the same thing with yn. y1 is 3 plus m is I don't know, y2 is -2 over m plus n. So what shall we do? We will take as we have done in the previous exercise. 0 is -6n plus 2m over m plus n. Cross multiplication, -6n plus 2m is 0. Let's try to take the 6n there. Now, remember, we need m to n, means m over n. So I will divide by 2n both sides. We have 2m over n is equal to 3 over 1. That means m to n is 3 to 1. This is the ratio that we have found. Now we can do the same thing here for the fractional distance, but there is a simpler rule for that. What is this rule? It is said that if you know m to n, then a over b is m over m plus n, as easy as this. So we know that the ratio is 3 to 1. That means a over b is 3 over 3 plus 1, which is 3 over 4. And this is easier than applying the unknown from the beginning and to solve for one of the variables. You can use this. And now let's think, how can we find the fractional distance from this text of the problem? Point B is located on the segment between point A, 1, 4, and point D, 7 and 13. Let's sketch it to understand the situation. We have here point P somewhere between A and D. A is given to be 7, 13. D sorry, 1, 4. And D, 7 and 13. B is somewhere between them. Here, somewhere. This is B. The distance between A to P, from A to P, is twice the distance from P to D. What is the meaning of twice? Means double. Means if this was 2, this is 1. If this is 4, this is 2. If this is 6, this is 3. If this is 10, this is 5. So how can we find the fractional distance? It's easier now to find the ratio. The ratio here is 2 to 1, or 4 to 2, or 6 to 3, or 10 to 5, and all of them can be reached to this 2 to 1. Because if you simplify 10 to 5, if you simplify it, divide by 5, divide by 5, this will be 2 to 1. Here, 4 divide by 2, both sides, it will be 2 to 1. 6 by 3, 2, 3 by 3, 1. All of them tend to be 2 to 1. Remember, the ratio is a fraction. So we can simplify it as we could simplify the fraction. مثل الكسر نقدر النسبة نختصرها أو نبسطها. So we know now that the ratio is 2 to 1. That means M to N is 2 to 1. We know now M and we know N. Now, what is the fractional distance? We just said in the previous example that A over B is M over M plus N. It's easier to use this formula. So it's 2 over 2 plus 1, which is 2 over 3. So now we have fractional distance 2 over 3. We know that we are talking about the distance from A to D. So this will be x1, y1, and this will be x2, y2. And here we go. We can find the coordinate of point P by using the formula that we have used at the beginning of this lesson. y1 plus a over b, y2 minus y1. Okay, so x1 is 1 plus 2 over 3, x2 minus x1, يعني 7 minus 1, y1 is 4 plus a over b, which is 2 over 3, y2 minus y1 means 13 minus 4. And it is 1 plus 2 over 3 times 6, 4 plus 2 over 3 times 9, 1 plus 6 by 2, 12 over 3, 4, 4 plus 9, 18, 6, and it will turn to be 5 and 10. If you try to find it using M to N formula, then you will reach to the same point definitely. With that, we end this lesson locating points on the coordinate plane. I hope it is easier now for everyone. وبهذا ننتهي من هذا الدرس، وأرجو أن يكون أصبح سهلا على الجميع. شكرا جزيلا للجميع. إلى اللقاء.